Wait, then what is Mario?
Black.
Well, Nintendo has said he's not Italian. He might be.
Wait, Nintendo said he wasn't?
Yes, Nintendo said he's not Italian.
What?
Then what is he?
No.
Black.
But he says Baba da Boopy and Mamma Mia.
I don't know if you
That's
know this,
Italian.
Cole, but no Italian says bop and a boop. Okay. Cole already knows this, but I did hit 163 this week, so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, dude.
Shit.
Stuff.
I am almost to my goal that I set for SGDQ, which was 160. So
That's
I'm
crazy.
kind of,
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
man, I'm going to probably try and dip into the 150s. Cause I mean, at this point, like, I think I just look a lot better, but a lot of like what,
despite me ripping into you the other week,
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Dude, like literally if you watch
Yeah.
like some of our older shorts and then you look at you now, it's like it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
no, it's literally like,
crazy.
I've lost probably 50 pounds at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because whenever I tell people like how much I've lost, I kind of just lowball it because I figured that I was probably about 210. Maybe I was a little more. I don't actually know. But I don't think I've actually weighed this much since I was like maybe Nestani's age or something, or maybe Jaxler's age.
That's the same age.
It's literally the same thing.
Oh, I thought Jaxler was a year older.
No.
No, it's closer than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were a year older. Yeah, I thought you were 27.
No.
Nah, soon.
26.
Soon, but not yet.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. My name is Nestani.
I am Jaxler.
I am DECosmic.
I am Coley.
And this episode is brought to you by none other than Coley_02, who finally released a video, ladies and gentlemen. He did it. He did it. Some have been saying, the streets may have been saying that it's a good video.
The streets.
Maybe.
This video's for the streets.
I mean, to be fair, some of the speedrunners are for the streets. Let's be so for real. We've seen how they act in
That's
GDQ.
Oh boy.
Anyway, you want to talk about
I'm trying
your video,
not to.
Cole?
I'm
Hashtag
trying so
ad,
hard
hashtag
not to
gifted?
say names.
Hashtag ad.
We're about to start like shouting people out.
We got a sponsor. Hey guys, if you want me to shout you out on the podcast, just send me $10. I got you.
Good God.
But
There you go. Finally, a revenue stream.
Oh my goodness, it's happening,
let's make some money, dude.
dude. Fuck yes.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, so I had this video idea for a little bit now. I've seen people do this kind of video with fighting games where they try and convince people that fighting games are not like super, like, obviously it's difficult to get to a certain level of playing fighting games, but it's easier than you think to get introduced to it and be part of like the community or even watch it and stuff like that. And there was one video in particular where I was like, you know what? This video needs to exist for speedrunning. I know that there's some people that have made videos for speedrunning, but I want to make my own. And I did. And I really wanted it to like withstand time for a little bit. Obviously, I researched so many different runners and so many different games because I wanted to cover like a lot of different kind of games, the popular stuff and the niche stuff.
PMC Trilogy was in the video.
And
He was.
Hell yeah.
he was in the video twice, I think.
I can't believe you found a PMC trilogy pop off. That's like a
I had
natural
the
resource that's hard to
hookup,
find.
dude.
You had it, bro.
I had the hookup,
But
dude.
yeah, so I looked around and I did a lot of stuff, and that's really what made this video take so long. So the video I'm working on right now, I actually wanted it to be released a week ago, but I'm just starting it now. So
Making good time.
but yeah, so I'm hoping
feel-
that can be a video that people can use to either get inspired in like how to speedrun or show it to somebody who is thinking about speedrunning, and they can go look at that. Because I kind of tell my own story just to show like why I'm one you should be listening to in the first place and stuff like that. But
Yeah, he said
meant
some
a lot.
really weird
It
things
meant
in
a
the
lot to
video.
me,
He was like,
so.
I'm the goat of Scooby-Doo. Mortal and Nestani should kill themselves. It was like kind of weird.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
honestly kind of problematic.
Yeah, it was
really
kind of
cringe.
egotistical in a way. I don't know. He
Yeah,
was-
if you want to get caught up on the drama, you should go watch it right now. But
Green Suiji has done it.
Green
Holy
Suiji.
underscore 02 has done it again.
Done it
Dude,
again.
when I saw that shit at the beginning of the video and simply just said green sewage, I lost my mind. That shit sent me.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah. So please go check that out. It took a really long time to make. And then I guess while I'm patting my own back here, I'm doing a stream that's called Speedrun Sundays, where I'm just speedrunning on Sundays. And right now it's Scooby, just because it's like I'm the Scooby guy right now. But
Getting back
there's
into
some
it, yeah.
other games that I eventually want to pick up, like Rabbids
Sonic
and Sonic
Heroes.
Heroes. And We Fit. Those are kind of like the other random 3 completely different games that I
We
want to
Fit.
speedrun.
Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah.
That's kind of a left turn.
So, yep.
Now, for
So,
rabbits,
Platformer, but IRL.
yeah, you're right.
Because
Yeah,
you are
so-
standing on a platform, yeah.
People
There you
say
go.
so.
standing on business.
Yeah.
So for Rabbids, are you planning on learning like the PC port or the Wii version?
Yeah, I'm gonna do probably all missions.
Okay.
So I have the Wii game.
Nice.
It's right there, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I
just
don't-
long. So. But
It
you also
is.
run the Dog Island, so it's like you don't have an excuse on that front.
I kind of do that out of like
Spite?
like, you know,
necessity.
nobody runs that game, you know. Like, I need to have another name on the board at least, because that game, listen, Dog Island community, you're great, but our speed game is really fucking bad. Like, it's all RNG. It's like 3 hours long. Like, the game is great, and you might as well just play. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, come on. Like,
Just play the
Just
game
be real
casually.
guy.
It's just
Yeah.
like,
You
that
did
guy
it.
right
You learned
now.
the run.
yeah, basic. Dude, you could record yourself playing the game casually, and you could upload that shit to SRC, and you'll be fine. Like, I don't know. I feel like Rabbids doesn't need all that much, but
Yeah.
I want to make a video. I don't know. I mean, a lot of creators do this, but like, I have the second channel that I don't really do anything with, and I think that might just be the place where I make like videos I know that will never do well on my main channel, and I'm just gonna be like, bleh. More is just like a for fun thing, but I want to make a video where I am just like, for me to like solidify my goals is to put like, this is the speed game I want to do this year, and these are the kind of goals I want to meet. So
That was like a goal setting video almost.
yeah, yep.
That's,
But
that's
yeah,
something
there's-
that I've been, kind of struggling with myself is like, I used to be really good about like setting goals and shit for myself, not even just in speedrunning, but like, other aspects of my life. And I just stopped fucking doing that for some reason. I don't have anything.
It's weird.
Like,
Yeah, I've had that too.
Dude, the white whales are all conquered. That's the thing.
yeah, that's
too.
part of it too. Is I'm at a
white whales. Is that no?
White whale. The idea of a white whale is basically something that is unattainable or a miss. Oh god. Anyway,
I'm taking it way too literally.
Go ahead.
the idea of a white whale, essentially in like slang vernacular, is something
Yeah.
that is out of reach or like very nigh unattainable. It's a reference to Moby Dick. So
it's getting worse.
don't at all.
That was a dude. Dude.
So
I'm just sitting
basically
here with a straight
Jaxler's-
face. I don't know what you're talking about.
You are straight, but
Yep.
that face is far from it right now.
It's very straight.
Aren't we like 4 days late for this joke too? Like,
True, actually. But basically, it is like his white whales were SpongeBob movie, Chibi Robo, and
Neopets.
and Neopets.
Now you're making me sound like shit. What the fuck, man? You just had to torch it for me, bro. Like, come on, man.
It's unfortunate, dude.
Well, and kind of on top, well, to actually like redirect this away from the yeah.
What are you talking about?
Wait until I tell
I'm
him.
just here.
Wait until I tell him. Wait until I tell him what kind of whale Moby Dick was.
Anyway,
A white sperm whale. So
Oh, let's go sperm whales.
yeah, that's like one
People
of
have
his
been saying
favorite things. Oh, I thought you were gonna. Yeah. Okay.
he's
just
holding
gonna-
his tongue, dude. He's holding
Dude,
his tongue.
dude, you look like you just ate a whole ass lemon. Like you just.
He looks like the Warheads. He looks like the Warheads logo.
That's crazy.
Oh my god. All right. So to continue,
You have no goals, no aspirations, no bitches.
Well, the third part is true.
Yeah, I was just reminding you what you were talking about. I was just being.
Yeah, exactly.
I was YouTube peddling what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. We were clickbaiting you were clip farming and clickbaiting at the same time, which is honestly pretty impressive. You gotta respect the game. But anywho, like the thing I've been struggling with is like I didn't really expect to still be here, if that makes sense. Because I might have talked about this on the podcast before, but I was at a point when I first got diagnosed with diabetes that I didn't really think I was even going to make it past 25, let alone 30. And then my health got a lot better because the technology got a lot better. So I kind of set things up in a way where I was like, okay, here's what I need to get done before 25, before A, I either croak, or B, complications from the diabetes remove my ability to speedrun or do things I really care about in my life. And then that didn't happen. And I've done all the things I set out to do. You know, I graduated college, I got my master's, I have done a lot of the speedrunning, most of the speedrunning stuff I set for myself. So now it's like, well, fucking now what? And that's kind of been my year so far, is just figuring out my now what. So I think working on the video stuff has really kind of helped me with that, though, because that's something I can always find a way to work on something on. Like this fucking... I think I told Cole earlier that the script was
Bro
fucking...
became the not like this emote. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because, dude, oh my god.
I think I told you
it's
both
the
that
longest script I've ever heard anybody write
26
before
and a half.
for a video.
So I've been like not...
Yeah.
I've told the community I'm working on the video for about it. So I guess, you know what, if
I
you're on the pod...
I don't even think
you
I
get
could
to-
think about 26 and a half pages. Like, and I
Yeah.
yap a lot.
When I explain what it is, it makes a little more sense. It's essentially the Neopets, the Darkest Fairy iceberg explained.
Oh,
is the video I'm working on.
God. Honestly, I'm surprised it's not 50.
Yeah.
Bro's making an hour-long video essay, by the way, guys. That's easily hour and a
like a
half
Wendigo
territory.
video.
No,
dude,
the
that's
worst part is I'm probably going to have to make a follow-up video for shit that didn't make the cut. Because I don't have enough real estate in each category of the tier of iceberg to put shit. Because it's like...
Wow. I think it'll be a good video, though. If you get her done.
That would be fire.
Yeah.
That should be fire.
Yeah. So like right now I'm like starting off with like the VO cutting, where I didn't realize this I think we talked about this when I made the Soul Reaver video. It's just like people edit out their like breaths, and I also have this habit of like my roof I'm wildly uncomfortable right now.
We were just talking about editing your breaths. I don't know what you're on. I was just breathing normally.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also noticed too
Yo,
that
anyone
like,
breathing normally right now?
oh, and I fucking hit the
Like, comment, and subscribe if you're breathing right now.
this.
If you're
What am I even
breathing
doing here?
manually.
Like, yeah, now it's fucking falling in my face again. But yeah, no, I've been working on the audio. I'm not even going to talk about this anymore. Sorry, no more content for the audio listeners because Nestani and Cold Torch this.
I'm just sitting here, breathing, waiting.
I don't like the way you breathe.
Oh,
Manually.
people have been saying that,
Isn't it unhealthy to be a mouth breather? Like,
No?
consistently? Or am I
No.
crazy?
I don't think so, no.
It's unhealthy
I
to
just
not
love spreading
breathe.
misinformation.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
true.
but like, I didn't know
Yeah.
if there were like, I don't know.
I mean, it can technically make it more likely that you don't get sick because you have like systems in your nose to push out pathogens a bit more. But like, if you're exposed to pathogens, you're probably still gonna get fucking sick anyway. So it's like,
I got a really hairy nose. Not too
Yeah.
bad, but like back there it gets a little rough. So I feel like that's like a nice filter, Like, remember when SpongeBob broke his butt and he was filter feeding? Like, as a kid, I thought I was like, I could do that.
Yo, Jaxler, what else do you have to say about your video? You're recording some VO. You're
doing some VO.
Yeah,
and then,
you're cutting out your breaths because that's what YouTubers do.
Yeah, but that takes a really long time to cut out all the breaths. Yeah.
It's it's like there's like 8 chapters worth of like I almost fixed the auto tracking mid-hand gesture. Wait, hold on. Oh, I didn't do it. Shit. So there's just like 8 chapters of it. I worked on it for like, I want to say 6 hours yesterday, and I got 2 of the chapters done. But now,
okay.
So this is what's been so annoying about this process is I wrote the script and I did pretty much all the VO, and then people in the Neopets community just keep fucking finding shit, and it's like, in the like the surface tier of like the iceberg, which is just kind of like talking about like stuff that's like in the game and then like that people just like might not have caught on their first playthrough. There's one where I'm talking about this like dungeon that's in this place called the Black Keep, and most people don't realize it's there because it puts you there after a boss fight and it just flips the camera away from the door, so most people just completely fucking miss the door. But someone made the discovery, like, I don't know if it's a common thing to happen or not, but in that boss fight, the boss can break the stained glass window that's in the back of the arena, and it's like really hard to get him to do that.
They had physics like that in PS2?
Well, it's not like physics, it's like an animation and sound effect that plays.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it's like there's so, one of the big themes of the iceberg is there's just so much shit that they added to the game, and it's just like, why? Like, why was effort put into this when there's like XYZ content? You know, it's just like, bro, what, like, so it's kind of like caused me to just appreciate the game a lot more deeply because of how much like research had to go into like making it happen. So I don't know. I'm really excited to be working on it. I'm also gonna be really excited for when it's done.
Dude,
Which
guys,
I'm sure
you should make a video about the Scooby-Doo Night Over 100 Frights iceberg. That's surely super deep.
Honestly, I think you could make a pretty deep iceberg. I'm not even gonna lie.
Could
I think you could. Oh yeah.
You probably could.
Yeah. There's like that, I forgot, there's that one Wii game that actually just uses a sped up version of Shock on the Dock Part 1 as like the main theme and stuff.
Wait, what game?
I don't remember. Mortal told it to me. It's like some very niche like Wii game. I don't remember what it's called.
It would be something that Mortal would know. That sounds like a Mortal.
He would be the guy to make the iceberg. Honestly.
He
really
is the walking encyclopedia of that game. It's kind of crazy.
The one thing that like comes to mind is with the coffins. They have like that little like Scooby-Doo head or like some character head to like
the dog collar.
The dog collar.
The dog collar. That's what it is.
Yeah,
like the dog collar that marks which coffin will open.
The Dog Island.
The Dog Island.
Oh, we're so back. Dog Island. Are we gonna have to talk about Dog Island this whole podcast?
No, we don't.
Because I'm ready.
But I actually remembered something else as well that happened recently. Is that we're talking about Scooby. So sorry I keep digging the shit up, but we were playing some of that randomizer for Scooby, where it like randomizes our stuff between
the archipelago,
people's different games. And so a new update came out for that, adding what's called Snack Sanity, which makes every single Scooby snack a randomized item that gets added to the pool. So we did this. It was like, what, 5 of us? It was like you, me, Ryan, Holy, and then who else?
It was us 3, Ryan and Holy. Yep.
Oh, right. We're 2 people. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, we're 3 people. Because Cole was there too, and me and you. So there's 3, and then Ryan Holy. So there's 5 total.
Wait, you played with us, Cole?
Wow.
Oh, you're just talking about the...
Crazy.
Wait.
That's crazy. Hey, Cole, I remember that you were there. I appreciate your presence, Cole. I really enjoyed playing with you.
No, wait, you were there. I'm stupid. No, I remember now.
Why is this the second time? I feel like this is the second time on this podcast where somebody's like, wait, you exist? Like, you're here? You're alive? Like, what?
I'm sorry. I did not mean it like that.
No. I mean,
this should go to tell you how this rando emotionally affected me.
No, this is like when your obituary gets written and you're still alive and you read it and you're like, this is what they think of me? This is what it was the whole time? Oh God.
If anything, this should just tell you how much like brain damage this rando did to me. Because we have like the little live log of
it
like
was crazy.
XYZ
Yeah, it
picked
was
up
like
ads,
3.5
and
hours.
it was like a Wall Street ticker board. It was like crazy.
It was XQC's chat, dude. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish to never do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Wish
say
to
I
never
think I
do
thought
it
it was
again. Damn.
it was
Well,
fun,
it's just
but
a hundo run with extra steps. That's my only thing, is that you don't really play the game any differently. You're just playing a segmented hundo run rather than just playing a hundo. At least that's how I felt. Like I was just going through all the rooms and I would just do 100%. And if I didn't have I almost said a relic. If I didn't have an upgrade, I would just skip the snacks that I don't have the upgrade for and then like keep going.
Come back later.
Like I literally hundoed all of Manor and then I was like, okay, but I missed like maybe 100 snacks because I didn't have a helmet or whatever, and so I just went through the whole map and I was just playing like basically like hundo but with like the weights on, and you're like, okay.
What if you combined it with the random doors? Where it's like you go into a door.
I would be more interested in the regular archipelago with the random door. I think the snacks, it's just too many pickups. It's just too much. Like it's just like IMO. Like I think it's cool if because aren't upgrades like soap and gum shit like upgrades on the regular one, right?
yes,
Yeah. Like that I think is cool because it doesn't like, then there's still a point to go into like Lighthouse 3, for example, right? But like
or like deeper into hedge.
the snacks don't allow you to do anything interesting at any level besides like I guess hedge 4. There's a reason to do hedge 4. But even then, there's a reason to do hedge 4 because there's a warp gate at the end. So it's like,
yeah, but obviously you want to try to avoid doing that in rando if you can.
Yeah.
But that's like, now we're getting into like the micro.
That's true.
Like
no one cares. But like, yeah, basically the TLDR is I felt like I was just doing a limited segmented hundo run, and I think regular
Rather
archipelago is, it's because like at that point I'd rather just play hundo. Like but that's just for me because I've played hundo a lot. So like that's just what it felt to me, and because there's no like strategy. Like before there's like a different strategy of like, oh, I have this upgrade, this warp gate, this whatever, let me go do this, and there's like decisions to kind of make of like, how do I want to route this, rather than just like, well, I have to collect everything anyway, so I'm just gonna go through the whole thing, you know. And I'm like, I don't know. Also,
I think what would have made
since you don't have, sorry, last
Oh,
thing, and also since you don't have unlimited snacks, you also kind of have to budget your snacks as well, which is another layer. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, and actually adds like snack routing to like a Scooby.
Cosmic is fucking glazing over right now. We need to wrap it up, guys. And guys,
all I was gonna say
chilling.
is I kind of wish we could like differentiate between like the one pickup snacks and like the snack boxes. Because usually the
I think would
snack
be fire.
boxes,
That's a fire idea.
yeah, usually the snack boxes are in weirder spots that require upgrades. So it's like especially it would give more uses for like if you get soap or gum early, like oftentimes
early.
like when those well, let's not talk about that.
I don't. Come on.
But yeah, no one asked. It was very.
This is the
it
Scooby-Doo
was
Night of
very
100 Frights
mind
podcast,
altering.
everyone. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yes.
With four Night of 100 Frights runners on the podcast today.
Heavy Iron has done it again.
Would you ever wait, Cosmic? Do you think you would ever have interest in trying a speedrun of Scooby?
No.
Don't listen to other influence. Just I want your own heartfelt opinion on this.
No, so the thing is that with me, a lot of what I value in a run is combat. That's pretty much what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if they make like a Scooby action game, then maybe he could go over it.
If like Shaggy has to
just play first
bust
frights.
a fuck it, if Shaggy has to like bust out some air combos, like I'm there day one. But you know,
Dude, play first frights, dude.
there's
You could throw books as Velma. You could charge
I'm
up.
good,
You could
bro.
literally charge your aura and then do more powerful attacks. That game is a Lego game.
bro.
You do beat 'em up
I
sections all
mean,
the
to
time.
be fair, he has no aura to charge, so that might be a bit hard for him.
Yeah, we found that out 2 weeks ago.
What?
Did you just say he has no aura?
I feel
Yeah.
I feel
Aura at
attacked right now. That's crazy. All right, y'all can go back to talking about Scooby
Bro.
then.
No, I've had
We lost
You
50
said that-
pounds and
Okay,
we're like,
you said
bro,
that with
no aura.
at all, dude. Maybe you're right.
Yeah. He's feeling like son
Bro
on the
lost
podcast.
50
Crazy.
pounds and he lost the aura along the way.
Ouch.
Crazy.
Yeah, I
Probably
mean,
worth it,
there's
probably
very
worth it.
few. there's very few games that I run that are not super combat centric. And even then they're like the more combat centric of their series, but then there's also like Chain Dive, but that still has combat in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I guess the most non-combat run that I've ever done was PS2 Uno.
What the fuck? PS2 Uno?
Yeah, so in PS2 Uno, so there's a company who makes, there's like Simple 2000 series and Super Light 2000 series.
Oh God.
I'm not going to get into that right now. But one of them is Uno, and there's a campaign mode called Battle Uno, where you play in a tournament with like 5 or 6 other Uno players. No, it's not Battle Royale Uno. It's not Battle Royale Uno. So there's like 5 other characters.
Yo, when's Uno coming to Fortnite, guys?
Dude, this draw 20 build is going crazy.
Right? So there's like only 4 players per match, right? But there's like 5 or 6 characters that you can compete against. So you basically just have to not come in last place until the very last match, and then you actually have to win the game of Uno. So there are times where, like, if you're in even like 3rd place, and then a character decides, by the way, it's like really anime the whole time. Like, there's a dude that looks like Joe Dirt if he were drawn by the guy that drew JoJo's. Or there's also like a dude who just looks like a high school protagonist or something like that.
My brain could not put that together. That sentence was crazy. I couldn't.
It's pretty crazy, but if
my brain shattered,
if I showed you it, you'd understand.
Dude,
but like
I like to think that when you're playing this though, like in your room alone, you're just like doing anime dialogue where it's like, I see you falling for my trap. Here's my +4, and then there's like silence. Like there's
the great thing is that there are just like anime style cutscenes like that in the middle of matches where like somebody will forget to call Uno, and then somebody else will be like, aha, you've forgotten to call Uno, or whatever. And it's all in Japanese. So then like some stuff just flashes across the screen.
Bro, it's like that one, like, what's that one game? Like the Phoenix with the guy.
Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, it's Phoenix
Wright, yeah.
Like,
essentially sort of like that, yeah. Yeah. Objection, all that sort of stuff. But so there's stuff like that, or like where somebody's like, draw 4, and then they throw down the fucking draw 4 on somebody. I'm quoting the game, Jaxler. Don't worry about it.
I know, it's just because I know it's Simple crazy. 2000 series, because
it's super light, but 2000 series.
So you saw that and you were like, dude, this combat is peak. Or are you saying
that shit?
No, I was saying it's non-combat. There's like that's not combat, dude. So yeah, I mean the other stuff that I've done that's like not got a lot of combat in it is like RE6, because a lot of that is walking and stuff like that. But also that game is much more combat centric than most of the games in the Resident Evil, like speedrunning. Because you will like even sections that are like Leon's campaign, for example. There's a lot of walking for the first like 4 minutes of that run or something. But then it expands into like some combat sections, and then there's some more running, and then there's a point where like you board a bus, and then you have to crash
out
the
of the
bus
sky
crashes.
And
imagine
the bus crashes.
Tilted Towers.
Yeah, Tilted Towers. Yeah.
Scar.
So Leon S. Kennedy has arrived at Tilted Towers. But like you'll walk for like, I don't know, 20 feet in that game, and then it's like, oh shit, this dog ran off with the key, so now we gotta shoot the dog or whatever. But that game also has really cool combat tech where when you switch to a different gun, even if the gun that you just shot has recoil on it, you can just cancel the recoil. So with like the sniper rifle, for example, you could be shooting a single shot sniper rifle, but if you just like switch to another weapon and then switch back to the sniper rifle, you can shoot basically semi-auto sniper. So, or you can do like if the shotgun, if you just switch the shoulder that the character is aiming over, it also cancels the reloads or like the recoils or the reloads and stuff like that. So like there's a point where Leon is just going like this and he's just shooting, like it's just allowing him to shoot super fast, and you can do that with like a lot of guns in that game. There's a lot of neat tech for that game. in terms of like the combat and stuff. But it's one of the more combat centric runs of RE, but it's not nearly as combat centric as like, I don't know, the Devil May Cry series or something.
Dude, listen,
Yeah.
in Frights,
You know?
you have this thing called the helmet, and you can bonk into an enemy.
You know what's funny, Cole, is that I've pitched this the exact same way to him before.
Yeah.
And then you get
It's really funny.
You go to the top of a lighthouse and you collect a floating lightning bolt that allows you to ground pound like Mario.
Mario, you like
So
Mario.
You like
And then-
Mario?
You like Mario.
I've heard
And
you
then
say
in,
Mario.
Yeah, you've said the
and
words
then
Mario before.
I've said
Yeah.
Mario before, yeah. It's probably my second cousin or something.
It's
But
me.
it's a
Yeah,
me.
wait, can you do a Mario impression right now?
No,
probably be really
he's not.
accurate.
He's not Italian. No,
Wait,
I don't got that.
wait, then what is Mario?
Black.
Well, Nintendo has said he's not Italian. He might be. He could be. It depends.
I
Wait,
think he's from
Nintendo
the
said he
mushroom.
wasn't?
Yes, Nintendo has said he's not Italian.
What?
Then what is he?
No.
Black.
But he says Boppa da Boopy and Mamma Mia.
I don't know if you
That's
know this,
Italian.
Cole, but no Italian says boppa da boop. Okay.
No, this can't be real. They go Boppa da Boopy.
As somebody whose heritage is mostly Italian, I have to tell you, I've heard a lot of ridiculous things in my time with 3 generations of Italians, but Boppa da Boopity does not even make the list.
No, it's not Boppa da Boopity. It's Boppa da Boopy.
No, it's bippity boppity boo.
It's not any of these things. None of
I
these
didn't know the
things
fairy
make
godmother
the
was
cut.
Italian, dude.
Saying the whole Italian alphabet, bro.
Hey, bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Italian. It makes so much sense. Oh my god. That's amazing.
Bippity boppity boo.
Now I'm just imagining an Italian like fairy godmother who's just like, I'm throwing here or some shit like that.
What are you
Before
doing?
midnight.
I need Cinderella, but it just takes place in New Jersey. And her name's like
Cinderella on Jersey Shore would be insane.
well, I was gonna say
Cinderella
like
becoming public domain.
it'd be like Guidarella or something like that.
Instead of the palace, you just go to the turnpike or something. Like,
Hey, Mamma Mia, the clock is striking a midnight. You know, when the clock is striking a midnight, I change it back.
What is the Italian equivalent of a glass slipper?
lasagna.
Dude, you just imagine fucking Cinderella wrapping her feet in lasagna.
I'm sorry, you. I'm
I
sorry.
don't
all
want to
right?
imagine that,
You
actually.
got a
I
great
think I
culture.
don't. I think I'm good with not imagining that.
I think that's gross, bro.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
I'm,
imagine
I think it's good.
putting her bare feet in lasagna.
Stop.
Just wriggling
Why
Yeah,
do you have to
just
say it again? We didn't have to say it again. We didn't have to say it again.
I was confirming what you're talking
We
about.
didn't have to say it again.
I didn't hear what. I just assumed that's what
we
you
could
said.
we could just be like it's like a dress shoe or something. You know what I mean?
Probably cleaner than just walking barefoot. Right? I've never put my feet in lasagna though. That's the first time I've ever said that.
I
sentence.
can't.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
Dude, I remember the
Has
last
anybody
time
else said that sentence? I've never put my feet in lasagna. That's
feel like
crazy.
no. Have y'all seen those like really cursed like cooking or like party menu like type videos where there was one where like they had like a toilet and they just poured like a bunch of like fruit punch into it and then they poured a bunch of gummy bears and stuff.
I've never seen that.
It
I've
was
seen the guy
it was
who
a
puts everything in the sink and he's like, and
it was a
there
toilet
you
that
have
had-
it, and he's so great.
It was a toilet that had no water in it, mind you. But they
doesn't
like
make it
I
poured
feel like that makes it worse.
it is worse. Okay, it is
they do
really
it-
some white people
they-
shit going on in these videos.
Literally.
Wait, is it like an is
Yeah.
it like an upper
Literally white
decker
people
punch
shit.
bowl or is it in the bowl? Like in the
It's in
actual
both.
toilet bowl?
Both of it. Yeah, it's both.
Oh.
It's in the back
It's like
part as
those,
well as in
those
the bowl.
fountains of chocolate, except
know?
it's just shit.
And then they'd be like taking one of those, you know, like punch bowl spoons and then just draining like the thing into the
That is
glass
some
just straight from
crackhead
the.
energy. What
It
the
was weird because they were like, oh yeah, look at you can just take all this candy and put it in there, and they like were using it to like sweeten the punch and all that, and I was like, you're insane, and I hope that the authorities have been contacted because
Now,
I
hold
cannot
on.
take this.
Let me be.
There was
the devil's
another
advocate
one-
here. Wait,
we're
hold
not
on.
doing this. This is how I know you're from Michigan.
Wait a minute.
This is some
was it
right
like
people
it was
shit,
a real
dude.
toilet connected to the ground?
Yes.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah, they're fucked up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure again that they drained it, but
That's so
like
fucked up.
Yeah. You can't like deep
even if it
clean
even
the
if it wasn't
pipage. Like
even
like,
if
you
it
just
wasn't
can't-
connected to the ground, like even if it was just a toilet, like that's just weird, bro. Like even if you went to okay,
Well,
so let's
If it
tackle
was
this
like a
in good
Halloween
faith.
party, that could be a little fitting. I don't know.
Let's tackle this in good faith, even though it doesn't deserve to be in
Okay.
in any stretch of the
Do we have
imagination.
to? Do we have to?
It's gonna be over really quick. So let's say you go to like
talking,
Sears,
I don't know,
right? let's say you go to Sears and you buy a brand new toilet.
Sears
you never
doesn't
hook it up.
exist anymore.
Yes,
There's
it
like
does.
one in
or like Home
300 miles
Depot
of
or
me.
Lowe's or
Home
something
Depot
like
or
that.
Lowe's, and you just
Okay,
buy
yeah.
a brand new toilet. Okay, you don't connect it to the ground. It's never been connected to the ground. It's clean,
Yeah.
pristine.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
still weird to eat fruit punch.
Yes!
To drink fruit punch out
If
of a
it's like a
fucking toilet
themed
bowl.
party, I think that could be cool. Like Halloween or something. That seems like some
A
crazy
themed
shit.
party,
So,
like I don't know,
does-
somewhere where everyone's walking around in diapers or shit. Like, what the fuck are we doing
I'm
here?
sure those parties exist. I'm sure those parties exist.
Oh no, they
Probably
certainly
does.
do.
Yeah.
And they don't
Then
need
there
any
you go.
party favors. Thank you very
Just
much.
don't knock it till you try it. Is all I'm saying. Maybe
I,
there's some.
I'm gonna
I
knock
think-
it and not try it.
There's a lot of appliances that you can get beverages out of, and toilet is not among the list that I put that on. I prefer getting them out of like a fridge.
A sink.
So, you know, like I was gonna say a fridge,
How
but
about
sure.
a bowl?
A bowl, yeah, no, that sort of thing.
A container.
But yeah, it's a little.
It's the creative people.
There's
An apparatus.
There's also there's another video where like this lady pours like all this cheese onto like a marble countertop, and then there's like a bunch of like ground beef, and then she like pours a bunch of chips on there too, and then she just starts like getting in there with her hands. And there's a lot of these weird videos of like cooking out there.
Nigga,
for,
where
like,
are
snack,
you at on the
snack
internet?
videos.
Where are you?
Mind you, I found these. Okay,
No.
I had these.
No,
No,
get off
listen
the
to me.
internet.
Listen to me.
I won't.
I had these stored in the
I've
back
listened to enough.
pocket.
I've heard enough.
I've had these stored in the back pocket for like a decade. So this is just like me not hiding the power level anymore, because I've had these in the back pocket for content for a while, and I figured this was the time to bring them out. So, but the thing is, what I was kind of getting at was that these people are not really making like snack making videos or cooking videos or anything. They're just
trying
making
to make a point out of this. This is
they're-
crazy.
they're
He's,
making-
like, making
they're
a
making
real point
fetish.
out of this whole fucking
They're-
story. This is like insanity.
they're making fetish videos.
Point out of anything.
Okay,
Dude, it's like it's listen,
Crazy if you
that
think about
guy.
it. You can talk about anything and make a point out of it. It's crazy. We could talk about fucking nothing for 20 minutes and he'll be like, and here's the point of
Bro
this.
is literally writing a fable about drinking fruit punch from a toilet bowl. Bro was
I
out
never
here
said I
writing
wanted to do that.
fables on people's fetish cuts. Like, what the fuck?
Well, again, I'm saying they're making fetish content. Like that's just what's going on here, bro. Like I don't remember how we
feel
got
like-
here, but
you know
that's
what?
that's the point.
I
I'm
think it's
blaming it
just
on
one of those
Jaxler,
things.
I think, this time.
What
Here's
the fuck
my
did I
point,
do?
is that
Straight people's problem. This is why we need to go after straight people. This is what I've been
I'm
saying.
not straight, so like it's
I'm not.
cool.
No, I'm not going after you yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
going after
fair
the people
enough.
in these fucking
Yeah.
videos.
He was like, "I'll deal with you in a second. Just give me one moment."
He'll get to you. Don't
It's
worry.
kind of it's kind of like when like you're a parent and like your kid like gets into a giant fucking mess or something, and it's like, I'll deal with you in a sec. Let's get this fucking mess cleaned up.
Yeah.
That's kind of that situation right
Yeah,
now.
that's
where,
fair.
like,
A dominant
you
Jaxler
will
in the
talk.
house right now.
Let's
You will
Let's-
talk. Incredible. One thing I did want to talk about. So first, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 trailer dropped today.
Oh yeah, I know nothing about this. Actually, I liked Blood
so-
Thunder's tweet about this morning. Well,
I
not his
didn't see
tweet,
Blood
his
Thunder's
Blue
tweet,
Sky.
but I did not see.
I
it.
don't remember what he
His
said. I
ski.
just liked the tweet because I opened up Blue Sky
sick.
and then I liked two posts and then I was like, wait, I shouldn't be on Blue Sky, and then I closed it.
Let
Yeah.
me find Blood Thunder's tweet so I can see if I agree or not,
Okay.
or his Blue Sky
I didn't
post.
agree with his other tweet about architects. It was kind of a dog shit take.
Oh
to be
yeah,
honest.
you didn't you did not agree with that. That's true.
No,
Got a
no.
little hostile on out there, huh?
Oh, he basically said the hype is unreal, and seeing Doom Guy grind on a chainsaw and a Revenant skating around on the Unmaker is exactly what I needed in my life right now. Okay,
That's kinda
fair
low.
enough. And he's also he was having a good day apparently. So shout outs to Blood Thunder having a good day on a Tuesday.
Good job.
Let's go.
Got the
But
club
basically,
going.
this is one of those things where I don't think people understand how fucked this situation is, because people are just kind of excited to be getting the remasters of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. But these are not the original developers for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 was made by Vicarious Visions, who were the original like leading developers on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. And they did a phenomenal job apparently with 1+2.
Yeah.
And they had like Andy THPS consult on the project and everything. And then when the whole merger happened with Activision Blizzard, Vicarious Visions got turned into Blizzard Albany, because they're based out of Albany, New York. And they were turned into like an Overwatch and Diablo asset, or like COD asset studio.
Yeah.
So that their projects, like their own projects, got shut down, and they were just basically shipped off to the asset mines. And now a few years later, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 is revealed, and I thought to myself,
What a wonderful
hope
world.
beyond hope.
Dude,
I was like, I mean, naively, I would think, oh, what a wonderful world. We're actually getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and +4. Maybe they're out of the fucking minds, as a studio. Nope. A company called Iron Galaxy, who I think will do a good job because they're a good company. They're the company that actually took over the latest Killer Instinct game from the original studio for that, and did a really good job with that game. One of the guys, Keats, that is in Iron Galaxy, really good dude. He's also been in the fighting game community for a long time. I have full
Is
faith
there a
that Iron
sequel to
Galaxy
Killer
will.
Instinct? Is it called Mamba Mentality?
No.
All right.
But I guess that would make sense.
Oh my
I guess that would make
dude.
sense, but
That's crazy.
no, there's no
Mamba
sequel to that
mentality.
Killer Instinct, because it was a reboot.
Kobe Bryant just shows up in the game.
Oh my god! Right alongside what's his name, Ronaldo,
His super is he just dunks a helicopter.
it's gonna be right alongside Ronaldo in Fatal
sorry.
Fury City of Wolves.
I'm sorry I made that joke.
No,
One
you're
of the-
good.
One of the characters,
Nestani's
Killer
not happy
Instinct,
with
does like
that
a
joke,
pump
and I
fake at
understand
him, and
why.
he just stares at him. Just
Sometimes I
So
wish I had a filter,
it's all good, bro.
for moments like
gotta
those.
You gotta get one of those. You gotta just put a Brita filter near yourself. And be like, listen. But so basically, I was like, okay, maybe Vicarious Visions or Blizzard Albany has been let out of the Diablo mines or whatever. Maybe they're allowed to make video games again that they want to work on. But no. Iron Galaxy was hired for this project, and again, I'm sure that they will do a good job. Maybe they'll even, as contractors, maybe they'll even convince Blizzard to let some of Blizzard Albany work on this, but I doubt it. They probably don't have that much pull like that because they're more of an independent studio. That would be kind of the ideal scenario, I guess, given everything that's happened. But everybody's just kind of hype about this happening because they're like, oh man, I'm getting to relive my childhood, because I guess reliving memories for an eternity of your adult life is a healthy way to live. But it's like, maybe just think about like how fucked this situation is for a second, where a studio gets fucking shit canned into flipping assets essentially for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Their projects get shut down, and then the multi-billion-dollar corporation goes, oh, actually, that project was pretty successful. Maybe we should have somebody else from outside work on it. Maybe we should outsource that really quick. And then, just keep those people that were really passionate about that project on some other fucking thing that they probably don't care about, and they just come to work and just do their job for, soulless means. It was really fucking annoying just seeing, like, I understand that people should like be able to be excited because there's no ethical consumption under capitalism or whatever. You can go down that route if you want, right? But at the end of the day, like, people need to understand, like, this is some fucking bullshit, dude. Like, you spend, years and years working on shit that you're passionate about, and then it gets ripped out from under you. And then when these fucking vultures see the merit in the things that you've been passionate about, they fucking just shovel it off to somebody else for like the lower cost. Like, it's so fucked, man.
Or
It's
in
like
the case of like,
Rivals shit.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Where it's like
That's
Marvel
what I
Rivals,
was
where you
thinking.
literally build the whole game.
Yeah.
It has the most successful launch since probably
Like Overwatch,
Apex.
probably.
Yeah. Or yeah, Overwatch 2. Yeah, for sure. Most successful.
Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, Apex
Apex.
Legends. Yeah, you know, this is a tried and true classic.
That's a new one.
I'm aware of this bit. I am.
I was not aware
back
of
when I
that,
played
but I was
Apex.
not familiar
Jax
with
is
your game.
aware of ape sex.
Yes,
I
he
am
is.
unfortunately aware.
He's hyper aware. People have been saying
We've
it.
duoed before, and he would not stop saying ape sex.
That's true. That's what I do when I play that game. I have ape sex. Anyway, but yeah, that's exactly what happened with Marvel Rivals 2, is that they had the most successful launch ever, and then, well, not ever, but like in years,
One of.
right?
In recent
since,
years,
like,
yeah. Especially
Overwatch
for a
2,
hero
Valorant.
shooter.
Like, I would really say it's since Valorant, probably.
Probably Valorant, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably accurate. Yeah.
And the game's still going crazy right now, and like they just laid off a bunch of people.
Yeah,
And that should
team
just tell you
got
all
cut.
you need to know about the games industry right now, is that you can have the most successful game on the market right now and still lay off people. And then
Yeah.
also
It's
Hi-Res has laid off
so
more
fucked.
people too in the wake. They have done 2
Yeah.
rows of layoffs now. So
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
bad.
even like it's not even as simple as like, cuz part of me goes, you know, well, maybe if these companies didn't throw like $1 billion fucking dollars into these projects and they just had smaller budget projects that maybe looked a little worse, you know, they could pump them out a little bit more regularly, maybe throw some shit at the wall to see if some new shit can stick. But that's not what
Well,
you know, people
that's
running
not-
these companies
honestly,
are interested in.
I don't mean to like cut you off, but that's
Go
not
for it.
really
Yeah.
He
what
means to
this
cut
is
you off.
about. Yeah, I do mean to cut you off.
That's fair.
But what this is really more about is that they lay off all of these people, and then eventually they'll probably just rehire new people at
yeah.
like entry level or like lower
At entry-level
wages.
pay.
And here's the thing: is that short term, the people who run these companies, these people in suits who should not be really involved with these companies, period. Let's just say, they see it as like a cost cutting measure, but it's actually just, it's short sighted, right? Because their reasoning is like, oh, the more experience someone has, or the longer they're at the company, they're going to have to pay them more. So instead of paying them more, they just lay them off, right?
Yeah.
But that's so short-sighted. Fuck. That is so
Short-sighted?
short-sighted.
It's cosmic sighted, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, cosmic sided. That's a better way to put it. We should say that from now on. Yeah,
It's short-sighted because, like,
we're gonna put that on a t-shirt.
when you have better employees that work more efficiently, in the long run, you're gonna save more money. Like, it's just stupid. It's just
Yeah.
not good business. It's not good game development.
Efficiency is the real way to save money.
Yeah, and I think also just to on top of that, I think it's doubly as dumb for like in the arts, right? Like you're making a game, you're making art, right? And so like whenever you have a very good tenured team working on the art, you create a culture within that team, a culture around that game, and then you can carry that forward. And whenever you're just like cutting people to get new people for the cheap, right? Like you're losing an aspect of that culture, which coming from like a studio like I'm gonna go to Smite, yippee, but like Hi-Res, like who makes Smite, like since they are a smaller company, they have a very tight culture, right? And so like we've been losing people. And like for example, I'll just use Tina. Like Tina has been in the company since I started playing the game, and she got laid off.
That's crazy.
For what reason? Probably because she's too expensive, because she's been there for 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, however long it is, like forever.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, and that's like that was a big culture hit for the whole Smite community, because she was a public facing, like, I forget what she did, but like she wasn't a dev, but she was like a public facing member of the company that I think she did like QA or something. She did something
Probably
that was more
community
she was the community manager, basically.
Oh, community. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay,
she was
okay.
like very like public facing, but it's just like, and that's like, ooh, like we don't have Tina anymore, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah,
and
that sucks, man.
like, and they don't see that hit, right? They don't see like that, because that hit isn't monetary. That's just like how much attachment someone has. Like maybe people are tuning out of the patch no shows now because Tina's not there. You know what I mean? Like
it also has created this really weird curve in terms of like who's struggling with unemployment in like the game dev industry right now, because it's kind of like a parabolic curve. So it's like you have people who are new to the industry or like new hires, and you have industry vets on both like top sides of the curve of
There's
like,
no middle
struggling to
class.
and it's like, no, well, even then, like like people in kind of that middle range are the ones who are probably sticking around the most.
Yeah,
And that just goes to show the hiring, and it's exploitative. Let's just
it's very exploitative.
cut the shit.
Yeah.
It's exploitative, Frank. I
Yep.
mean, that's for all the shit I get for being unemployed right now. There's a reason I don't want to go work in the games industry. It's because I don't want to be exploited. I just don't. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
It's, for the sake of making art, I'm just gonna make my own shit.
the thing too that I was kind of getting at is that like the idea that I thought of like, oh well, maybe just smaller budget stuff would work out better. The thing is that like even if indie developers started like kind of coming up on the rise to sort of combat like this, anti culture essentially, you're not going to realistically have what is effectively a bunch of hobbyists spend tons and tons of money on making their own games that are even a quarter up to the snuff of like AAA titles to try and mount some sort of, like countermeasure in the marketplace and try and gain more of the market share. Like,
And it's also too, like a lot of these indie devs are working 2 jobs, right? Like they have their day job and then their game that they're working on is what they're doing after their day job. Like after they've already worked 40 hours a week, then they're putting the time into it, right? Which is like why like the Lunasis patch doesn't come out, because it's just like DK has a whole fucking job, and then after that people are like, when's the patch coming? And then at some point it's just like, bro just doesn't have the energy,
the time.
Like he doesn't have the time or the energy, right? And it's just like,
and there's
that's
no
completely fine, and there's no incentive. Yeah, exactly. And there's also no incentive.
He's not going to charge money for it for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's because he's a pussy. But also, but it's also just a thing where like there's even if he did charge like what he should, like there still wouldn't be that much of a financial incentive because it's still a smaller game, and it's just like
Has
what were you gonna say,
anybody
Cole?
has anybody from the original, like the dev team that got fucked over, like has anybody from them even spoken up and said anything about like their take on it or anything, or are they kind of like afraid to say anything because they're just like,
if they have said something, it's probably been on Twitter, and I'm not going on Twitter, so
yeah, I haven't followed up on that situation.
I would have to I would have to look into it. I mean, which like this kind of leads me into the next thing, which is that the Acclaim studio is back, and they're as a publisher, they're saying
what the fuck did they publish? Who are they? That's all I have to say, man. Like they made NBA Jam and Vex. Like what are we talking about? Like I don't know.
Some other stuff too, but their initial goals as a publisher are apparently to support indie developers and reignite classic franchises, which those things sort of seem opposed to me. Yeah. So like, and it says providing funding, marketing, and PC support to indie studios. So maybe this is something good, but like at the same time, Acclaim, a lot of what they specialized in was publishing like licensed games or like sports
games, racing games.
Yeah, it's very like
and Vex.
I'm gonna take it at face value and just be like, cool, this might be a win, but kind of things we've yet to see really kind of where this goes. Yeah. If they announce Vex 2, I'm sure at least 1 or 2 people in this call will be stoked.
I would be so mad. Because that means I would have to speedrun that shit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I did say that it's not going to happen, and I would bet my life on it.
That you'll speedrun it if it comes out.
The thing of it is this news actually didn't surprise me, because like people from the Vex camp, like former devs and like people with the rights, have always talked about trying to get this to happen, and there were things in the works, supposedly. So I would not be shocked if that's one of the things that comes about from it.
No.
I'm interested to see what they do with them, though, because
how I got top 5 in Vex and 5 in 1 month.
Yeah. The Vex that we got and the Vex that was planned are very, very different games. Like, it was supposed to be contiguous open world, for example.
Probably hardware limitations, right?
Time.
Time, that makes sense.
Like, there's a ton of areas that were planned but got cut. There's like a bunch of areas in the game where it's just like a random like lava or volcano level that's just there, or like a random sand temple level. Those were supposed to be part of like bigger world like levels and maps and stuff that just they made it, but then that part of the world got scrapped, so they just put it somewhere else. Like, that makes sense. Dragon Reach and Dagger Crag were all supposed to be part of one big giant desert area, and they split it and then did what they did. It's really interesting. Like that's another thing you could go down the iceberg on a little bit. Oh boy, I'm not as knowledgeable on that. Here we go. No, I'm gonna end it there.
I was gonna say that reminds me of how like in Killer 7, like the original trailer for that showed like some temple or like some pyramid in it, and then like you can actually still find that thing, I think in the files or something. Yeah, you can always find cutscene files, but that part of the game just ends up being cut. It's probably because 2/3 of that script got cut when Suda51 took that script to Shinji Mikami. And Shinji Mikami was like, dog, this is too much. You need to cut it down.
Yeah. I think also this kind of just speaks to, I mean, we've kind of been tiptoeing around it, but I think like the biggest problem with the whole gaming industry thing is that 2020 happened, and so there was this giant bubble that formed around the game industry, and there was so much investing, there was so much cash flow, and then people are outside now, and now we're kind of back to where we were in 2019, where it's just like the gaming industry isn't that large, right? And I feel like what we're kind of experiencing is that the industry got really, really big, right? And now the bubble's kind of bursting, and we're kind of like receding back to like where we were. And I still think the games industry is larger than it was.
No, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of like things are kind of below where we were in 2019. Based on like data that I'm seeing. I might have to double check that.
It's still a really, really profitable industry. I think it's just that like costs have risen as well.
Yeah,
costs have risen, stuff, and the people that manage these companies are so fucking irresponsible and stupid. That's the big thing. Because, like, they could have planned around this better. They could have budgeted better. They could have also not put, like, have every company try to make a live service game, which the market can only support so many, right?
Yeah. And also are the most expensive games to make.
That's true.
And maintain, right? That's why you're seeing what's happening with Acclaim a little bit. And Iron Galaxy is the same way, where a lot of what they do is they work with other dev teams, and like so they worked like Iron Galaxy might have worked with Blizzard or Activision before or something like that, where they'll like almost like in a contract sort of way, like they work on their own IPs, but they'll work on other people's IPs and like have like a couple members of Iron Galaxy just like work on other projects, right? And like that's a good part of how they consist, because one of the things that's hard about game dev is you have this cycle where you have a lot of work to do, like in pre-production and then, production, right? But then like afterwards toward the tail ends, like different people in different specializations kind of like, what do I do now? Right? Like, for example, if you're a concept artist, you're really busy when like the game is starting to go into pre-production. But when the game's like being polished, like you're not as busy, right? So sometimes that's why you see people like get laid off, or they don't treat these positions very well, is because they don't really know what to do with them. So that's why you see kind of what Iron Galaxy does, and what Acclaim's probably going to try to do as well, is to make like it consistent and not have like the peaks and valleys. Like there's still going to be a lot of work, because game dev is a lot of work. But it's a way of making it sustainable. It's still unfortunate though, because I believe Iron Galaxy had a couple of layoffs. Because even if your company,
if Marvel Rivals is laying off people, anyone can get it. Bro. Anyone can get it.
Which just goes to show the rough spot the industry's in right now. But it was only like 5 or 6 people, I think. Which
that ain't bad.
Yeah,
for
in comparison to High Res, which was half their fucking company.
I think that the only company that I haven't heard this about, who might have the best business model right now, is like Capcom. Because Capcom has like 2 really big IPs that just fuel everything else. So like Monster Hunter Wilds right now, popping off.
Oh, that game's so fun.
Fucking tons of games. There's like 8 million copies sold already or some shit.
Yeah.
And like they've had Resident Evil like firing on all cylinders, pumping those out like every other year, you know, or for a little while it was every year. And those are fueling like a ton of funding as well. And then as a result of that, like they're bringing back Onimusha. They are having that sequel to Okami. Like there's a bunch of stuff that they've been working on. And it's like, they clearly understand that. I mean, this is the thing too, is that like people that are like industry vets are not like getting laid off from that company. They're leaving to go like pursue other things because they've been there so long. So they're leaving like of their own volition.
That's what
but at the same
with, like,
time,
Ben Brode and Hearthstone. Yeah, like he was like the face of like the design team, and then he left and made the team that made Marvel Snap.
Yep.
I do
like at the same
have a
time,
question
it's like,
though.
Sure.
Just kind of like it's been on my mind, but like I feel like there's kind of like a little, how do I phrase this? I feel like there's a little parallel between like the games industry and the film industry, where I feel like we're kind of reaching the point where like, do people game anymore? It's similar to like, do people see movies anymore, or do they go see movies? Because like, especially with the younger generation, I've heard so many times that like the younger generation doesn't watch movies anymore, right? Whether that's true or not or whatever, you know, but I've been hearing that a lot. And so what I'm wondering is that like, I think also broadly with film in general, there's maybe like one film a year that everyone hears about. And I feel like outside of that, it's kind of quiet, where I feel like in previous years, you would hear about like everyone would be seeing like 5 or 6 per year. And maybe I'm a little off base with that. But like last year, I feel like it was a kind of a little bit of an outlier with Barbie and Oppenheimer, which were basically, I count that as one movie, but whatever, it's 2 movies, and Dune, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Dune
and those were
was,
like
yeah,
very
2024.
culturally massive, and like everyone saw them besides me. But like everyone saw them. And so like my question with the games industry is like, what are the games, like what was the last game that like everyone played? Not like this like section of people that like, you know, it's like the Resident Evil fans are always going to play Resident Evil. The Monster Hunter fans are going to like, what's like transcending? Like everyone's playing it. Like besides like
That's an
Elden
unfair
Ring?
question.
I mean,
How is
Monster
it
Hunter
unfair?
Wilds, again, Monster
I
Hunter
think it's
Wilds.
unfair because the only time can tell whether or not you can answer that question. And by that point, they wouldn't even be considered like new with how many things are coming out.
What do you mean? Because I would say that about Dune, and that happened last year. Right?
I'm
And I
talking
think
about, like-
Elden Ring happened in 2022.
2021, I thought.
Okay. So like,
Yeah, so that happened a while ago. It's not like it's going to be
I
immediate.
mean, but we
No, it is
knew
2022.
Elden Ring was
You're
a,
right.
we knew Elden Ring was a
And, like, all this
classic
other
by
stuff.
2022.
I mean, I
Like,
disagree with movies going away
Well,
or
it's a
anything like that
2022
either.
game. You're
it's
right.
just how media cycles work. But
I think
Yeah.
I think the movie thing is it's more it's terrible words. I think the film thing, it's moving, like it's shifting of like where people watch
Yes.
it rather than people
And-
aren't watching it. Like I
Yeah.
don't prescribe to the whole thing that like kids aren't watching movies anymore. Like I think that's kind of bullshit. Like in my I agree with you.
pretty
But that's
bullshit.
just what I hear. Like
Yeah.
I'm in film school, and that's what these niggers are saying. And
people said movie theaters were going to die like a decade ago, and there's still a ton of stuff
they're
that's
still-
just dumb. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Here's something I will say, is that if you think about movies, like for the longest time, they were the only like video medium. And so now movies have competition with like shows and like
This
longer
podcast.
series podcasts and
This specific
YouTube
podcast.
content.
like and subscribe.
Us. And video games don't really have that same kind of thing. The closest thing I would say is between like, you know, console PC games versus like mobile, but even then that's still very, very different. And games as well just have that brain chemical producing power of like the interactivity bit that I think is always going to have a lot of staying power. So
Yeah. I was just more like commenting, like, I feel like I feel like the sentence, just to sum my whole point down to a sentence, I love doing this, is that like, I just don't think there has been as many big culture hits in gaming recently as there have been in the past. And I think that is what is causing the little downsize. I don't know if I'm off base with that, because admittedly, I'm not the most tapped into the games industry. That's
Yeah.
shocker to no one.
I think
but like outside of like Elden Ring, Red Dead 2? When did that release? Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't remember. Yeah.
like, I feel like it's been very few in recent memory.
I just don't think that's a good question. Like, I just don't think the only way you're going to find that out is when time passes. Like, that's the only way you're going to truly find that answer. But then because that's the only way you're going to find that answer, you're going to be like, oh my God, nothing good's coming out. Because remember, like a few years ago, this released. It's just like you have to give it time for it to get into the culture.
Yeah, what
I mean,
I'm talking about is
right now there is
in the time
not
period
the
of like
monoculture.
2017 to like now, basically, like in the past 10 years. Like that's what I'm like. I'm not talking about like super ancient stuff. I'm referencing like Elden Ring, Red Dead. These are like recent-ish releases.
Those have been out for a few years already. So like if you're gonna name something else that's like
the thing is I would
from
say
like the
I
past
would mention
year or two. That's
Elden Ring in
unfair.
this conversation. Like the year Elden Ring came out, I would have mentioned it, right? I would mentioned
also
Elden Ring that same
Elden
year.
Ring when Shadow of the Erd Tree came out, frankly.
When
the
what?
DLC for it came out.
Oh,
when
DLC.
Elden Ring got its DLC, that I would also
Yes, I count that as the same game, but like I get it. It was a brand new game, whatever. I get it, but it's a DLC.
Basically is.
Like I agree with your point, Cole, in terms of like the time thing. I just don't that's not what I'm talking about specifically here. I'm just talking about like recent memory where like just like I'm talking really like the news cycle. Like I just don't hear a lot about like really good games that are coming out, right?
Yeah.
I think Monster Hunter is obviously like out, but like it's too short to know if this is going to gain traction because it literally just came out, but like
yeah.
Well, I mean, it already sold
last year. What released last year that like everyone fucked with? Like Astro Bot?
Hold on. Give me what?
Yeah, Astro Bot.
But like, I feel like I don't feel like everyone played that. I feel like there was a lot of talk about it, but I don't think everyone played the game. If that makes sense. I don't know if that's just me though.
I'm trying to find like the peak for Monster Hunter Wilds in terms of player base.
So while you do that, just 2 points.
The peak, mid, and slop.
Audio listeners, Cosmic flipped off Nestani.
I also flipped off Nestani.
Oh, and Jax.
I also flipped off Nestani.
The peak players for Monster Hunter Wilds was 1.1, almost 1.2 mil. And like for comparison, Counter-Strike 2's peak players was 1.7 mil.
Well, to be fair, that's Counter-Strike 2. Sorry, I decided.
But I mean, if you go by like Counter-Strike, you know, like Global Offensive, right? Let me see what the actual like peak players for that was. I can't even see that right now.
I mean, I started the whole thing off with I could be wrong. That's just a feeling that I have, right? That's just like my feeling. Like it could just be incorrect. Like again, I'm not tapped in. You know what I mean? Like
that's fair.
I'm a floater. I float on the edges of this stuff, and I just like observe and you know, it's probably just not making it to me. But because it's not making it to me, which is the reason that I asked the question in the first place, is because it's not making it to me. And if other people are like me and they're floating, shit isn't getting to them, right? If that makes sense. Like,
I think the other thing too is that a lot of what we see now is continuations or like iterative generational releases, really, because like before, like a lot of the stuff that you would see that was like coming in that was sort of like really, really big. For example, I mean, we can start back as far as like Gen 6, right? Like when Halo dropped. Well, I was going to actually say Halo.
Oh, okay.
Like when Halo dropped and put an entire console on the map, right? Like that is like generational, right? That effectively altered the course of maybe, yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of people that have played Halo with generational trauma. But like that effectively altered the course of like there being a third contender in the marketplace because Sega was like, we're out, dude, you know? So it was gonna be Sony and Nintendo just kind of doing their own thing. But now like a lot of what we see, like even Monster Hunter Wilds that we're mentioning here is a sequel to, you know, like Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. So it's like we're not seeing a lot of new games come out, like, or new IPs that are dropping and sort of like changing the game essentially. Elden Ring being effectively a new series, even though it is iterative of Soulsborne, the fact that it was like, you know, done in collaboration with George R.R. Martin and it was this huge open world thing, huge,
George
like
R.
big. Just,
I know Nestani sounded confused. Look confused there.
Is
That's
that
the guy
Star Wars music guy?
No,
that's
that's
the
Game
guy
of
that wrote
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He wrote Game of Thrones, or Song of Fire and
That's
Ice
George Lucas
series.
of Star Wars.
George Lucas of Star Wars.
cooked,
Yeah.
bro.
That's
It's
insane.
over.
Blunder,
But yeah.
whatever.
So, but like that coming out, and that was like really anticipated just because of the scope of the whole thing, you know, that was a huge thing. Or like when COD 4 really revolutionized multiplayer, essentially really revolutionized the COD scene, like the COD scene and everything. But then there's also, to Cole's point, right? There are games like Metal Gear Solid 2 that when they release, people don't really get the point. Right. And people regard the game as bad or something that you shouldn't really pay attention to. And then like 10 years later, everybody suddenly gets what Hideo Kojima is trying to say with Metal Gear Solid 2, which is that like the marketing for that game showed basically only Snake. And then when you play the game, you only play the first stage as Snake. And then you play the rest of the game as Raiden. And part of that message that Hideo Kojima was getting at was disinformation in the information age. And that is like one of the like overarching themes of like what he was talking about. People didn't get this at first, and the game sold pretty well, but it was not really received very well because people were like, oh, who's this new whiny protagonist or whatever? Turns out they were just like, he's not actually that whiny. It's just that people were mad they weren't getting to play as Snake.
Yeah.
But now 10 years later, people go, oh shit, this game is actually good. We just didn't understand it for a while. And now it's up there with like, now it's up there with like, you know, if you were like playing, let's say like Metal Gear Solid 4, right? Or you saw Metal Gear Solid 4 for PS3 and you said to your buddy, oh, hey, this game seems cool. Is there anything I should play before it? And people be like, oh yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 3. Oh, well, what about 2? Oh, 2 sucks, you know? But now people are like, oh, those first 4 Metal Gear games, they're gas, dude. Oh, and then you can play like the first half of 5, but then the second half is where Hideo Kojima stopped being involved, you know, or whatever. And then they'll probably also mention Metal Gear Rising, unless they like pretend that they have a PhD in Metal Gear economics and they're a snob, and then they don't want you to play Rising. But that's a whole different thing.
There's a lot in that sentence.
But it is one of those things where like something turning out generational or something turning out like super impactful in some cases is sort of a slow burn in that regard.
The kind of 2 points I also wanted to bring up as well. For one, games take a long time to make, especially when you have bigger scope projects. So it kind of makes sense that, and obviously movies take a long time.
Yeah,
to make
I didn't
too.
think about that. That's fair.
Which is, I think, part of the reason why it might feel that way.
Maybe I'm full of shit.
I think it also. Well, here's the other thing: is there's a big difference in the way that fundamentally games are marketed versus movies are marketed. Movies you hear about when it's about to come out.
That's true.
Games you hear about when they start like working on it or are like part of the way through working on it. And then I don't know if you ever noticed this, but
like
oftentimes like I forget that games have come out because they usually market the game in an anticipatory fashion. And a lot of the reason why they do this is they want pre-order sales. And the reason they want pre-order sales is that gives them money and budget to work with so that they can effectively finish the rest of the game, right? Movies don't have pre-orders. So because of that, they just need to get butts in seats at the end. And I think because of those like constraints in like the way that the medium is delivered changes the way that you have to market it. And I think that's why it can alter the perception of the rate at which games come out. Like, we see this a lot with the Game Awards, where you have all of these trailers for coming out in 2025, 2026, right? And then you forget about it. Like, they'll actively market it, like, right before it's going to come out. But it's like, they do an explosion, like, when they announce it, and then it tails off. But then, like, on the other side with movies, it's like, they work on it, they work on it, they work on it. They might, like, say, like, a little announcement or teaser or something, but they just say that and then move on. And then you get like a trailer, like right before the movie comes out.
Don't you get a couple trailers before the movie comes out?
You get a couple trailers before the movie comes out. So they like aggressively market it with like promotional materials right before.
I think also part of that too is it's easier. Sorry, quick tangent. I think it's easier to market that, especially with when you have bigger movie stars, because then they do the press rounds, right? And so that kind of feeds into itself.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But you know, like the thing is,
Definitely
like
agree.
you put the trailer right before the movie comes out because you want people to get hype about the thing you want them to go sit for at AMC next week, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a week or two, like a month, like whatever, you know.
Exactly.
Short
Yeah.
timeline.
Right. Well, short
Not
time,
like-
short turnover.
GTA 6 trailer released, and I don't even know if is it coming out this year or next year. I don't know. I don't know anything
Quarter
about
three,
it. I
quarter four.
vaguely remember GTA 6 got announced.
Yeah. The other secret third point is length and rate of consumption, right? So
Yeah.
game devs will want to announce things earlier because they know that playing a game is a lot more of a time commitment than watching a movie. So they need more time to let the idea of the game marinate in a player's head because there's a real, you know, cost, like opportunity cost evaluation for a lot of consumers nowadays. Yeah, especially with the live service shit, like it's like, is this going to be something worth coming back to every day or every other day?
Is this
right?
going
Or
to be
is,
better
like,
than me queuing into
Am I go-
Joust and Smite 2?
It's like, oh crap, Final Fantasy 27 is coming out. Am I going to have like time to play this? And if so, give me the trailer so I can evaluate if this is worth all that time I'm going to invest into it. Because
Absolutely.
time is valuable, right? So I think that also influences the way it's marketed, which then influences the way that things are. I almost
think
said
the other
routed.
thing
I
too,
think
like
also-
with the
Sorry.
well, I was gonna say with the film industry too, to Nestani's point about like, do the youth watch films, or like it doesn't feel like there's been like a lot of like really super crazy films that you hear about. Is that the other thing too? Is that the film industry has to also take less risks now because with the phasing out of physical media, there's a revenue stream of DVD release or Blu-ray release that is used to be much more heavily marketed that cannot be really relied on. Matt Damon talked about this on Hot Ones, which was that, you know, he would take on projects that might have been seen as pretty risky, but because of like theater release and then the DVD release, you effectively have a second theater release with the DVD release that you can recoup costs pretty easily or even get into the profit zone with just like the DVD stuff. But now there's projects that back then he would have taken on, but now it's a bigger risk because now you are essentially relying entirely on the theater release. I don't really know. He didn't really talk about like how streaming deals go
How
and
streaming
shit.
goes with that.
But
two quick
we
things.
can can just assume it's really like exploitative in terms of streaming.
It
sort of
is.
like
Yeah.
how Spotify is.
So
Yep.
that's where I was going.
You know.
So literally, quick yes and to you. Architects just released an album, right? And so they're trying to like chart basically, and like they're spamming their fucking like Instagram like thing, like they're like, you don't know, broadcast channel. They're spamming their broadcast channel, like buy the fucking thing, please. And then they drop something really interesting to me, which is that 200 streams equals 200 streams of the whole album equals one album purchase, which is
That's
like
dog shit.
insane.
Oh my god.
So that should just be like, that's just another like layer of like, I don't know if it's the same with the film
Yeah.
industry, but like that, I read that and I was like, oh, anyway, I have a vinyl and a CD in my, but like I'm in the US. They're trying to chart in the UK.
It's
Either way, I also wanted to jump on what Jax was saying before with, I think another thing is that like with movies, you go and you see it and boom, it's done. And then you talk about it and it's quick. And it's like the first week you're like going. What do people do in the first week of a game release? They're
playing.
No. They go to streams. They go to YouTubers and
that's
they
true
watch
too.
the game
Yeah.
to see if they want to play it. And then they may buy it by the end of the first week. And then maybe they finish on the second or the third. And so you suddenly have this like month-long thing where everyone's kind of playing it at different parts, but everyone's kind of playing it at the same time. But I think like, because it's not so like flash
and that's the
in,
thing.
I think that's like a different, just because the rate of consumption is just naturally
And
slower.
there's just so much more content with a video game that you can't consume it all in 2 hours unless it's like an indie game, right? So like it like the discussion can't be that like really, you know, critical mass of all these people talking about it at once.
Yeah, like
because they've all
why did
caught
they make
up.
Luke not a Jedi anymore? You know, like you don't get that shit.
Yeah, and because it just takes longer to get through games, especially story-driven games. So it's like
This is why more games should be arcadey, because then they take like 5 hours.
True. Shout outs to Donkey's new game that he's publishing. That's literally an arcade game. Anyway, now that we've discovered that I am dumb, that'll be the end of the podcast. I don't think we needed to have this whole podcast to figure out that I'm dumb. But
we've had like an entire like run of this podcast.
Yeah, we have like 40 previous episodes where you can see me being dumb live in action in person.
Is this episode 40 or is this?
I think
so.
I can get that info in a moment.
I can get it right now. It is episode 40. Yeah, we're on big 40.
Guys,
yo, in 10 episodes, guys, we need to have a special for episode 50, okay? And then we're going to have a special for episode 69.
Well, maybe we do 12.
Oh, wait, we have to do 52 because of the year. Anyway, sorry. I'm stupid.
Yeah, because of the year. Yeah. We could do 50 and then also 52. And then we could also do 69.
We're not going to do 50 and then 52. We're not going to do
and then we can do and then we can do 420, okay?
Whoa,
you know, along
100?
with 365. 100,
sure,
you know?
like 100, also, 200, 300, you know.
Okay, we can do like 100, we can do 150, we could do 200, we could do 169, we can do 420.
Do 317 for fun, for no reason.
True, absolutely. We can do
your mom.
Doing your mom. Really long-term goals.
Doing your mom. Does anybody have anything going on?
Yeah, it's fair.
No,
yeah.
I have nothing going on.
You don't have anything going on?
I would argue I have too much going on that I don't have anything going on. Yeah. Guys, I will stream if I can. Otherwise, I'm not promising anything. I'll just it's cooked. I'm cooked right now.
I might be working on GDQ submissions because I have a couple that I want to work on. But also last night I tried to work on the bouncer and maybe try and get a new PB, and then 4 or 5 runs in a row died to the first boss. And I thought, okay, I think I'm done. And then I went back to practicing KOF 13. But I think I might just stick with like the 2 or 3 that I kind of had in the back pocket, and then I'll just ship it. But I might work on like Dynasty Warriors Origins or something. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I am still in the trench. Yeah. I am still in the trenches with the iceberg video. But I may stream some Frog Monster for a similar reason, which is GDQ submissions. You
are still under the ice, so to speak.
I'm still, I'm locked out. I'm frozen, bro. It's over. Well, what about you? What's interesting?
I mean, we already said at the beginning of the video, but please watch my new video. And
this whole video was sponsored by Sunday, you, so you paid for that ad placement earlier.
Oh, okay. But then also every Sunday on YouTube and Twitch, I'm streaming. I'm going to be speedrunning usually for like 4 hours or something, or some allotted chunk in the afternoon, like if you're in America. If you're in Britain, then I don't know. Fuck you, I guess. I don't know what time. Fuck the British. But other than that, that's about it for me. So
super side tangent. Literally today in class, my teacher was mentioning a British writer, and when he said, "Yeah, so he's a British writer," I had to stop myself from going British. Like I had the urge to just let it rip. I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" You're in class.
Jesus Christ!
Lock the fuck in.
It's cursed. It's cursed.
Hold it down.
Speaking of locking the fuck in, lock in on that fucking subscribe button, please. Please.
Ooh. Lock in on that like button.
Maybe hit the notification bell.
What are we doing?
Yeah. And hit the notification bell. All right, bye.
Bell Brigade.
Bomb.